left, to the left now. To the right, to the right. Now take your left hand and put it on your side. Don't roll your shoulders, do a slip and slide. This next part's my favorite part of this time to shine. Gonna do the two-step, then cowboy boogie. Grab a sweetheart and spin out with me. Hold down and get into it. Take it to the left now and dip with it. Don't throw down, take a sip with it. Lean back with your hip cinch. It's simple, you can do it. Slide to the left, slide to the right. Now cool down, have a good time. Slide to the left, slide to the right. Do the butterfly, have a good time. Round, round, round and round you go. It's time to show out right now and take to the floor. Gonna do the two-step, then cowboy boogie. Grab a sweetheart and spin out with me. Hold down and get into it. Take it to the left now and dip with it. Don't throw down, take a sip with it. Lean back, put your hips in it. Take it down now, take it down now. Take it.
Okay, last night you were supposed to have done some reading for me. You were supposed to read No Speak English, so it's time for a quiz. Here we go. You can do it open note, open book. If you have a book like this, you can do a Word document on your computer and type your answer and share it with me. If you have the PDF, you will use this section here. Ready? No, you're not. Time's up on that. We're starting the quiz. You got 6 minutes from right now to finish the quiz. Question is, are you ready?
No.
I don't care. Go quicker. Hurry up. Go finish.
Not everybody is as fast as you are. Not me.
Yes.
You have too much speed.
No speak English. So you're ready. Let's go. So the question. All you need to do is, since you read the story for homework and have notes on it, is answer the question. 6 minutes is more than enough time to write 3 sentences. Oh my God. All right, here we go. Oh, they erased my question on the board. I forgot. So the question is, I'll write it on the board again for you. But the question is, how does the author use culture to show us low socioeconomic status? How does the author use culture to show the theme of low socioeconomic status? 6 minutes starts now. Good luck. Questions on the board. If you need a question other than what is the question, I can help you, but you have to raise your hand. I don't know what evidence is correct. If you go to the classroom and say plus, I will add it for you. Hit plus. Shh. Talking is a 0. Next time I hear it, I'm giving you a 0. Don't care. You want to answer it too? Yes. If you're typing on a Google Doc, just send it to me in the share button, and you're done. If you're still working, you got 2.5 minutes. About a minute. The blue button says share. Oh, then you keep it there, because I can see that. Everything you do at KB, I can see that. Shrink everything. This is one size. All right. Wrap that up. Dot your I's, cross your T's. Make sure you have periods. All that fun stuff. So now, you guys, there was 2 different groups of people entering this quiz. One group did the reading before they got to class and annotated before they got to class, or at least read it. Some of you didn't annotate it at home, but at least you read it. The other half of you didn't even look at it. Which one of you guys had an easier quiz today?
Wait, we annotated it?
Yeah, did you read? If you read and annotated, was that the most easy quiz comparatively? Okay. No, still hard?
Well, I just wanted to make it good.
Oh, well, wanting to make it good is like a perfectionist thing. Like that's in you. I got nothing but love for people like that. Keep working on you. Do you? But it's that I was prepared as I could have been. I read the story and I wrote stuff down, and you were ready. How many people saw culture in it before I even said anything? Yeah? It's good. More than half. It's in every paragraph. It's in the title. It's everywhere. The evidence of culture is everywhere. Where you pull it to tie it into low socioeconomic status is really the can I prove this is right or wrong kind of a situation, right? So let's talk about it then. Who is prepared to share, comfortable to share? Feels good. Sydney?
I said that it demonstrates low socioeconomic through cultural gender roles. Like, for example, since the family lived in Mexico, they were kind of living in poverty. And then the man's job is to go to America and make money, bring his wife or his family back over. And then the woman stayed and get married.
Very good. So you tied it into the cultural gender roles. And I like that too. We can see this low socioeconomic status where they have this apartment. He's trying to make it feel like home for the wife, but she's just struggling to make the connection, right? Yes, ma'am.
I said that the author is showing culture by the mother talking to the young boy and telling him not to speak in English because this could represent that the mother is embarrassed or ashamed to live on Mango Street and be speaking the language of a different culture.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. She could be tied into that. I think you could even take that a step further and say she doesn't want to lose her cultural identity coming to a new country. So she wants her kids to speak Spanish, right? If you grew up in like a Spanish speaking and English speaking household and you speak two languages, that's your family trying to help with the culture thing too. Like that's kind of, even if it's Spanglish, even if it's Tex-Mex or whatever you want to call it, even if it is, it's still good. A good representation of them wanting to keep their culture. What else? Who else wants to share? First line, no speak English. The title. First of all, that's not in proper English. Y'all know that. So that is an example of culture. Someone who's learning the language but doesn't know the language. We do this all the time with Spanish. We speak it improperly all the time when we're learning the language. You do it all the time, probably when you ask to go to the bathroom. You butcher it just so you can go to the bathroom. Puedo ir al baño, por favor, right? Okay? No speak English. First word in the first paragraph. Mamacita.
But, I mean, those words show culture, but you gotta relate it back to SES.
Correct. So how do you do that? You brought it up. You're right. Riley?
Well, it shows us in the second paragraph where it says low socioeconomic status and culture.
Yep. The man saved his money to bring her here. He saved because she was alone with the baby boy in that country. He worked 2 jobs. He came home late and left early every day. That's low socioeconomic status, right? The language barrier that you see present, not just here, but all over. Here. This is home now. Speak the language of the country that we live in. You can't survive and get above low socioeconomic status and not speak the language. You can't survive. You don't have to be perfect at it, but he's saying you have to try. I mean, he gets really angry. But let's go through the chapter. Lily, read the first 2 paragraphs for me. Mama Sota.
Mama Sota, but I think that's me. The man saved his money to bring her here. He saved and saved because she was alone with the baby boy in the country. He worked 2 jobs. He came home late, and he left early every day.
So, for those gringos out there, that's the white people. Gringo, gringa, feminine, masculine, gringo, gringa, boy, girl.
There's no way I'm gringo.
Gringos, as a cultural
salsa
use.
for
My group.
Okay?
My brother is
Shh. You don't have to speak every time you think anything. You don't. Fight the urge. It's annoying to everyone. Not just you, all of you. I love you. Okay. Important. These people, this is a joke, but we lose it because we're gringos. We don't know the language. Mamacita is not big mama. Mamacita translates to little mama. She's the big mama of the man across the street. Rachel says her name ought to be Mama Sota, which means big mama, but I think that's mean. You don't call the big girl Mama Sota because that's offensive. You call the big girl Mamacita because that's kinder. Okay? The man saved his money to bring her here, and she does not seem happy. Remember, we just talked about this, man. It doesn't always have to come out. You can. You're about to be outside, so you'll be able to find it real well out there. The one day Mamacita and the baby boy arrived in a yellow taxi, the taxi door opened like a waiter's arm. Simile. Out stepped a tiny pink shoe, a foot soft as a rabbit's ear. Simile. Then the thick ankle, a flutter of hips, fuchsia roses and green perfume. Imagery. The man had to pull her. The taxi cab driver had to push. Push, pull, poof. She was so fat, Mama Sota couldn't get out of the taxi. Had to pull her out of the taxi, and the other side had to push out of the taxi. That's a big girl. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
I thought that kind of represented too that they even had to work hard when they were like in the country. Like she was in there, but she had to work hard to get in.
I mean, literally worked hard to get in the country. All at once, she bloomed. Huge, enormous, beautiful to look at. She's a beautiful woman. That's important to note here. Like, we're not just calling her a big girl. She's a beautiful woman, right? From the salmon pink feathered on the tip of her hat to the little rosebuds of her toes, I couldn't take my eyes off her tiny shoes. Up the stairs she went with the baby boy in the blue blanket, the man carrying her suitcases, her lavender hat boxes, a dozen of satin high heels. Then we didn't see her. She came to this country carrying suitcases, plural, hat boxes, plural, and a dozen boxes, that's 12, that had high heels in them. So she came to this country a poor woman or a rich woman? Rich in...
I would say
Clothing.
Rich in...
between
Shoes, satin, and stuff like
Mexico,
that.
between the
In Mexican culture. She's rich in Mexico. She comes to America and that money doesn't translate. She's immediately into not a home, but an apartment, right? So that transformation immediately should mean probably a little less
Shoes.
happy, right? Now she could sell the shoes, sure. She wants a little extra money. Somebody, say again. Then she'd be even sadder. That's very true. Somebody said because she's too fat. Somebody said because of the 3 flights of stairs. But I believe she's on the 3rd story. But I believe she doesn't come out because she is afraid to speak English. And maybe this is so, since she only knows 8 words, she knows to say, he not here. Again, broken English. For when the landlord comes. No speak English if anybody else comes. And holy smokes. I don't know where she learned this, but I heard her say it one time and it surprised me. That's probably not a saying we say very much anymore, but this was written in the 60s when that was a common saying. What would that translate to in today's slang?
Oh crap.
Oh crap, or oh my goodness. Something like that. OMG, right? Holy macaroni, right? Anything like that would like translate. So she learned that through whatever. And so she knows how to say that. So she'll read the room and someone says something, she's like, holy smokes. She's trying to fit in a little bit, but it, of course. My father says when he came to this country, he ate ham and eggs for 3 months. Did anybody use that as their example of culture? 3 months.
What is
3 meals a day. 3 meals a day
What is
I
that?
couldn't do
for
it.
30 days
I don't like
times
eggs.
3. That's
Eggs taste really good.
270 meals in a row of ham and eggs.
That tastes really
I
good.
couldn't-
I don't disagree with you, but if you ate the same thing over and over again for that many consecutive days, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, ham and eggs. That was the only word he knew. He doesn't eat ham and eggs anymore. This is, again, part of that culture issue. The language is a barrier for them, right?
And gender roles, because he doesn't know how to cook, like he doesn't know girls or anything.
I mean, all that's tough when you go to a new country. In Mexican culture, they have like markets. You go outside and there's like
Campfires.
sections of like little tense areas with like a bushel of fruit and like a live chicken you would buy and whatever else. Like that doesn't happen in our culture very much. Okay, it's a struggle. Yes.
Sounds like where Hans are going to go to get.
Oh, Hans, he would. And he probably
I can get a pig.
take care of it for you. You can buy a pig. Whatever her reasons, whether she is fat or can't climb the stairs or afraid of English, she won't come down. She sits all day by the window and plays the Spanish radio and sings all of these homesick songs about her country in a voice that sounds like a seagull. Yes?
That reminds me of one of the first chapters when she compares her man to her grandmother.
Absolutely.
And
it looks like
translate.
the cover?
Yeah.
Right? Where she's staring in the window. That's a cultural gender role, right? Absolutely. The gender role, cultural appropriation of the women in a window, right? These women in a window are trapped. And you're going to see it in the next chapter with Rafaela, who drinks water or coconut and papaya juice on Tuesdays.
Oh.
That's the title. I didn't make it up. She still sighs for this pink house, right? She wants this pink house. That's where her home is. Home, home, home. Home is a house in a photograph. It's not real anymore. Pink as hollyhocks with lots of startled light. The man paints the walls of the apartment pink, but it's not the same, you know? She still sighs for that pink house. And then I think she cries. Sometimes the man gets disgusted. He starts screaming, and you can hear it all the way down the street. She says, she is sad. Oh, he says, not again. And he's speaking in English, and she's speaking in Spanish. So this conversation would have been a good example of culture, right? How he's trying to accept the new culture of this new country, and she is fighting it. Cuando? What does she say?
Why?
Close. When? When what?
When did she go?
When can she go home? When can we go home? And then he says, I got A. We are home. This is home. This is it. Here I am and here I stay. Speak English. Speak English. I'm not going to say that word. Ay, mamacita. Who does not belong every once in a while lets out a cry, hysterical, high, as if she had torn out the only skinny thread that kept her alive, the only road out to that country. Then, to break her heart forever, the baby boy that they brought from Mexico starts to talk and sings the Pepsi commercial. They hear it on TV in English. And that breaks her heart. Why?
She doesn't want him to speak English.
Why doesn't she want him to speak English,
She
Mason?
wants him to live in Mexico.
Build the bridge. Connected.
She wants him for Mexico to be his culture and not America.
Right. She doesn't want that disconnect of the culture. She doesn't want him speaking
She can't
English
understand them.
because she can't understand him. Can you imagine? You move. I have a 4-year-old. I take my 4-year-old to France. We just start living in France. He goes to pre-K in France. He walks in the door, everybody speaks French, and he doesn't. And I'm like, it's okay, we'll learn, we'll adapt, everything's gonna be okay, don't worry about it. You'll do fine. I go start teaching in France.
So why didn't the guy just move to Mexico?
I'm sorry. Then he comes home and he walks in the door and I'm struggling to adjust and I can't get the French language down. And he walks up to me and he's like, oh, la rose sur la blanche. Oh, and I'm like, oui, oui. Oui, oui. And we lose a little bit of that connection. Does it mean he can't speak English? No, but it does mean that we are losing a little bit of that connection. That's what she's feeling. She's feeling that loss of connection. Yes.
She's probably like more sad about it because he's just now starting to talk, and so he doesn't know the Spanish. So he doesn't know any Spanish. He's only.
I mean, she's got to teach him the Spanish, right? My brother-in-law speaks Spanish because his parents spoke Spanish to him, but he didn't do that for his kids. So my nephews don't speak Spanish, even though they're half Mexican. They don't speak Spanish, and Dad does. He just didn't find it important enough to carry on that tradition, that cultural tradition.
I'm sure his parents were sad.
Not really happy about it. No. As if she can't believe her ears, right? Don't speak English is what she's trying to say. Don't speak English, kid. Don't. And then the kid starts crying. Like, that whole scene's a mess. No, thank you. Let's read about Rafaela. She drinks papaya and coconut juice apparently on Tuesdays. Gilliam, you're up. First paragraph, go.
On Tuesdays, Rafaela's husband comes home late because that's the night he goes down. Then Rafaela, who's still young and being old, leaning out the window somewhere, is locked indoors because her husband is afraid Rafaela will run away since she's too beautiful to look at.
I'm assuming you guys are all writing that down. I didn't need to write it down because you already knew that this was a cultural issue and a gender role. She is so beautiful that he's worried somebody's going to come steal her. Locks her in the house and says, I'm out. We're going to go hang out with the boys. We're going to play some dominoes. Stay inside. She was in the window, correct? I mean, it doesn't say that, but don't you feel like, I mean, she was leaning out the window, but don't you feel like this is looking out at the life we could have, but we're trapped inside?
Another metaphor for
Just like Rapunzel.
What?
What?
So, everyone will probably be the same time we catch it, right? Because it's throughout the scene to continuously use looking out the window or over the other side of the window. For a metaphor for sadness and feeling trapped.
Do you ever, when it's raining outside, do you ever feel yourself just like staring out the window? I mean, if you haven't done that yet, in your boredom in the house on a rainy day, I do. I'm like, God, I wish it would just stop raining. You're looking outside, so sad.
I look outside.
I feel pensive when I look outside in the rain.
I mean,
Just me.
movie time.
Rafaela leans out the window and leans on her elbow and dreams her hair is like Rapunzel's. Again, if you don't understand the story of Rapunzel, she got locked in a tower. She grew her hair really long and let down her hair. And the night, some brave man came and saved her, because that's the only way women can be saved, is by a brave man, right?
It's Eugene, actually.
It was actually an accident.
What if I said that in my house? I'd get hit with a frying pan. That's a weapon of choice in my house. Y'all heard that story with my son, right?
No.
What? No, my son knocked my daughter out cold with a frying pan. I didn't tell y'all that story?
No.
He's so ridiculous.
I
I mean, she's okay.
How old's your daughter?
She's 6, he's 4.
What happened to lead up to that moment?
Nothing really serious. They were just playing around. And you know how you have the fake kitchen? Like the play kitchen, and they got fake pots and pans. But we have, my wife wanted it to look really real, so she got the pan, the frying pan that's it's a metal pan. And so they're playing, and she's like, you know how just randomly kids will be like, woo, you know, they like twirl or do weird stuff. So she's doing that, and Beckett's like, oh, that looks like fun. You know, he does it too. And then all of a sudden he grabs the frying pan and he spins with the frying pan, and she's like, woo. And then all I hear is, it's like out of the corner of my eye, and all I hear is, bong. And it hit her like right here, not on the temple, but like right here. Luckily, it wasn't sideways or turned around where it's like the handle, but it's like that flat part caught her right here on the hard part of your head, so it was okay. But she acted like murder just took place, right? Flops on the ground, and Beckett's like, you know, and it panicked. It's like, Dad, I didn't mean to do it, I swear. You know, she was, I don't know. And I was like, I watched it happen. Obviously, he didn't do it on purpose. It's okay. But he's crying because she's hurt, and she's on the ground playing dead. She's going to milk this for you know, all of the candy she can get out of this, right? I pick her up, and she's fine. But she didn't even have a bump. But it just looked horrible. And it's one of those moments where I was like, we didn't have the cameras on. You know, when we leave the house, we got our, like, security system or whatever. Man, I wish we had the cameras on at that moment, because we would make millions of dollars.
That's the moment when you say, go talk to your mother.
Send it to AMD.
I mean, so fun to have kids.
Go ask your mom.
Oh, man. I was like, try to explain that one. When you go to the hospital, and your kid's got like a giant welt on the back of their head, and you're like, you got hit in the head with a frying pan, or you know, whatever, and you're like, CPS is down the hall. We'll be talking to you about taking your kids away from you. So, anyway, how did I get on that story?
Because Rapunzel, like you said, that frying pans are weapons in your family.
One gets hit in the head. No. So
But Tangled, that is a weapon. In Tangled. Did I do that subconsciously?
Yeah.
I've seen Rapunzel through Tangled no less than 185 times in my house. I mean, for real.
I have beat that.
Okay.
I watch it.
You may have.
I watch it every morning while I'm getting ready.
No, you don't.
That and Moana.
Moana's a big deal.
Moana is amazing.
All right, so my ADD tangent took us down a path. We're still doing good on time. Keep with me. A long time passes and we forget that she's up there watching us until she yells down, "Kids, if I give you $1, will you go to the store and buy me something?" She throws a crumbled dollar bill and always asks for coconut or sometimes papaya juice. And we send it up to her in a paper shopping bag she lets down with the clothesline. Rafaela, who drinks coconut and papaya juice on Tuesdays and wishes there were sweeter drinks. Not bitter like an empty room, but sweet. Sweet like the island. Like the dance hall down the street where women much older than her throw green eyes. Throw green eyes. Easily like dice. In open homes with keys. Open homes with keys. And always there is someone offering sweeter drinks. And someone promising to keep on a silver string. Keep them on a silver string. What did I underline over here?
Simile and metaphor.
Riley, you've been on fire today. Keep it up.
You enjoy all the metaphors and phrases with symbolism.
Keyword, symbolism. Like an empty room? Sure. Symbols, right? Everyone can see that because it's got the word like. And we're comparing the bitterness to the empty room, right? The bitterness of a drink. But can you be bitter in life? Can you act bitter?
Yeah.
Yes. Bitter is a pun in this case. Y'all know what a pun is? It's a play on words. Okay? I mean, yes, basically every dad joke in the world, right? That's pretty fair. I mean, if you've been on a sporting event long enough, you probably heard some dad from the sideline yell, "Stop playing soft." If you're not playing soft, you're being gentle, right? But instead of yelling gentle, dad yells soft. Soft like a pillow.
It's supposed to hurt.
Bitter, right? So bitter like an empty room. Yeah, having an empty room can be a bitter feeling, but she's referring to these drinks. She's referring to her life. She's bitter in her choices. She chose this life. She's stuck in this window, in this life. She is objectively, we talked about it here, a beautiful woman. And she is struggling because she wants more. More than what the culture says she should have, more than what her husband says is okay. She wants to be like the women who are even older than her that are out in the club dancing. I do like this throw green eyes. Can you throw eyes? No, we're throwing looks, right? We're looking at somebody, right? We are looking. And what are we looking for? Love or
A family.
Well, she's looking for something.
stability. In America, you can have it all. You can do whatever you want. Women can be whatever they want. Men can be whatever they want. Right?
Yes.
I mean, there's been a lot of movement forward in the feminist movement to get to a point where finally it's like not weird to see a female candidate going for office. You don't have to like them. You get to choose. But it shouldn't be weird to see that. It shouldn't be. Same thing with, I mean, you know, talk about breaking down doors. I mean, in the election, oh gosh, how long ago was that? When it was
4 years ago.
Obama versus Clinton.
Oh, that was
It was either going to be,
2008.
it was either going to be a historic win, one way or the other. We're either going to have a female president, which would have been historic, or we're going to have the first African American president, which is going to be historic.
Wait, was it the
It was Hillary Clinton.
election?
There was the Democratic side of that thing.
It was Hillary Clinton.
Hillary or Barack,
Oh, they went against each other? I didn't know they did.
for the Democratic
What was it?
nomination.
Yeah, I
People
didn't know
rated
they
again?
did that.
What's that?
You should just ditch them.
So yes, so this that brings us to this point. The next chapter. Thank you for bringing us back. Sally. She should just ditch it.
So are we talking about her name now?
No, different girl. But let's
Oh,
see.
yeah.
That was Rafaela. Sally is the girl with the eyes like Egypt. She has makeup on her eyes. We call that like mascara and eyeliner and things like that. I heard you. It took me. I was in the middle of writing, so I was trying to focus. Makeup, and then obviously we think of one particular woman when we think of Egypt, right? She was known for her beauty, and quick Google search will help us. Cleopatra.
That's what she looks like.
This is what they recreated. They did a movie in the 60s about the time this was out, and they showed this was what Cleopatra looked like.
That one
No.
on the left.
This was probably closer to what she looked like. But again,
She's pretty.
She's very
in history, beauty changes over time. I mean, you understand that, right? Okay. So the boys at school think that she's beautiful because her hair is shiny black like raven feathers, and when she laughs, she flicks her hair back like a satin shawl over her shoulders and laughs. Her father says to be this beautiful is trouble. Is
Beauty and what?
Curse.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Is being beautiful a curse? Something to think about. We don't have to discuss it just yet. But they are very strict in his religion. They are not supposed to dance. He remembers his sisters. It is sad. Then she can't go out. Sally, I mean. So something bad happened with his sisters. They were also beautiful girls. Something happened to them. So he is not going to allow his beautiful daughter to make those mistakes. You realize that you have rules in your house for several reasons, but 2 are mostly because either A, your parents did that and got in trouble, or B, they saw someone get in trouble doing that and got in trouble, so they're not going to let you do that.
My dad tells me I'm not allowed to do the things that he didn't get caught for.
Yup. Fair. He remembers his sisters and is sad. So Sally, who taught you to paint your eyes like Cleopatra, and if I rolled a little brush on my tongue and chew it to a point and dip it in the muddy cake, the one in the little red box, will you teach me? Whoa.
Always it's not doing the thing.
It's a delay. At least it's better. I like your black coat and those shoes you wear. Where did you get them? My mother says to wear black so young is dangerous. But I want to buy shoes just like yours, like your black ones, made out of suede, just like those. And one day, when my mother's in a good mood, maybe after my next birthday, I'm going to ask to buy the nylons, too. Yeah, this is a, she has like, idolizes is a good word. It's almost a, she really wants to be like her. But let's see if she still wants to at the end of this. It's going to get uncomfortable. Cheryl, who is not your friend anymore, not since last Tuesday before Easter, not since the day you made her ear bleed, not since she called you that name and bit a hole in your arm, and you looked as if you were going to cry, and everyone was waiting, and you didn't. You didn't, Sally. Not since then. You don't have a best friend to lean against the schoolyard fence with, to laugh behind your hands at what boys say. There's no one to lend you a hairbrush. What? Did she like rip off someone's ear and bite a hole in their arm, or is that a symbol and metaphoric?
Pierce her ears?
It could be exaggeration.
Could be exaggeration. What do you think the ear bleeding thing could symbolize?
Piercing her
And on initial look, yes, an ear piercing makes sense. Except, would that divide a friendship?
No.
Insult.
What were you gonna say, Lily?
The 2 were fighting back and forth, and what they said hurt each other's.
Bingo.
Oh.
They're hurting each other's feelings, and at some point it cuts so deep, metaphorically, what you said hurt my ears enough to make them bleed.
Oh.
Okay? Bit a hole in your arm. Someone make that make sense then. Symbolically,
So,
metaphorically.
Like it cut deep into your.
It cut deep.
feelings.
What cut deep?
Her words.
Not words. That's for the ear and the mouth, right?
Something they did really hurt them, and they took apart away from you.
But why the arm? Why not the leg? Why not the? Why the arm? You're right, but why the arm? What does that arm symbolize then in that case?
Her heart.
Or like
That would've been
those things like.
You ripped a hole in my chest. Where, you know what I'm saying?
Like how there's those things like an eye for an eye. And an eye for an eye.
Maybe. Riley, on fire. Let's go. Keep it up.
Supposed to represent the ability to reach out for another friendship. Oh, okay, good.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like the burnt bridge.
It was like this.
Right? You were supposed to do something for me. An arm is of action. Right?
I know.
I was like, whoa. This is deep stuff.
We go way deeper than that.
Oh, go. Bring it.
No.
Let's go.
Lily said she thought maybe it was like suicide because of your whole like whatever
Ooh. Dang, I don't think I thought of that.
Dang, we're good though.
She's not there anymore.
That wasn't us. That was Lily. Yeah, she's not there anymore.
Dang, maybe. I hadn't
He
thought of
just
that.
now understanding.
Good job, Louie.
Dang, that could be even more deep.
You're like squinting your eyes out.
Just keep reading through it, we don't need to go this deep.
Sorry.
We don't
I
know
didn't
what.
know what I said.
Because there's gonna be a test question over it, and then I'm gonna do that.
Or it's something that happened.
I'm not sure it's dumb. So you need to actually share the list.
Yes.
I think we should keep reading.
How'd she die? You're saying suicide?
Because like when you
Wrist cutting.
suicide, you know, like you like
Dang, I didn't think of that. Maybe
It's like a hole in her arm.
you could convince me that that's possible.
Cheryl.
Riley,
Cheryl.
Cheryl.
That's so bad.
say again.
It could like I was reading what I was saying, and it could be also referring to what I was saying, but because it could represent fear of trying to reach out, or
Yeah.
trying to ask for another friendship, or trying to make new friends, or trying to do something, or trying to ask for
Right.
something that you haven't followed through, or trying to change what.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. More than the suicide thing.
Changing their personality and changing how she behaves. It's like I don't. Her friend gave her bravery. But
Yes.
the hole in her arm, she doesn't have that bravery to please her. She
Right.
doesn't have that bravery to stand up against what people try to do.
Yeah, that's great. Like that.
I'm going down.
So again, these are all possibilities. Remember, there are lots of right answers here. I like that one where she's afraid to reach out because last time she reached out, metaphorically, there was something taken out of her arm, right? A bite out of her arm. You don't bite the hand that feeds you, like you've heard of that saying before.
No.
Yeah, like you,
Like if you bit the hand that fed you, then the person that feeds you is no longer going to want to feed you anymore.
like say you
Why
with your mother.
I mean, it's the extension, the action. So anyway, okay. The stories the boys tell in the coat room, they're not true. You lean against the schoolyard fence alone with your eyes closed as if no one is watching, as if no one could see you standing there, Sally. The stories they tell in the coat room are not true. Maybe it was a story that hurt.
Yeah, I was thinking
Right.
like maybe.
What do you think about when you close your eyes like that? And why do you always have to go straight home after school? You become a different Sally. You pull your skirt straight, you rub the blue paint off your eyelids. You don't laugh, Sally. You look at your feet and walk fast to the house you can't come out from. Sally, do you sometimes wish you didn't have to go home? Do you wish your feet would one day keep walking and take you far away from Mango Street, far away, and maybe your feet would stop in front of a house, a nice one with flowers and big windows and steps for you to climb up 2 by 2 upstairs to where a room is waiting for you? And if you opened the little window with the latch and gave it a shove, the windows would swing open and the sky would come in. There'd be no nosy neighbors watching, no motorcycles and cars, no sheets and towels and laundry, only trees and more trees and plenty of blue sky. And you could laugh, Sally. You could go to sleep and wake up and never have to think who likes and doesn't like you. You could close your eyes and you wouldn't have to worry what people said because you never belonged here anyway. And nobody could make you sad and nobody would think you're strange because you like to dream and dream. And no one could yell at you if they saw you out in the dark leaning against a car, leaning against somebody without someone thinking you're bad, without somebody saying it was wrong, without the whole world waiting for you to make a mistake when all you wanted, Sally, was to love and to love and to love and to love. And no one could call that crazy.
That got deep.
It's a lot. Yes.
I just thought of something. And this is from Esperanza's point of view. Maybe she's asking Sally that because that's what she thinks about herself.
That's exactly right. This whole section right here is not Sally.
It's all her.
It's her. It's her pushing her thoughts on Sally, projecting. We do that all the time. You probably just don't think about it. But all this right here, this wondering, that's what she wonders. That's her thoughts. This section right here I find real interesting.
Esperanza started thinking about a lot.
Yeah. Is this not totally different than the Esperanza with Nenny and they're looking at clouds, naming clouds a few chapters ago? Yes. Buildings Roman.
Wouldn't like the whole chapter pretty much be that?
Yes. This whole chapter is a great example of the coming of age story. And this section right here I really like for kind of like the cultural advancement. Like this section right here is about, without somebody saying it was wrong, like she wishes that she lived in a time period where she could do whatever she wanted and it wouldn't be like some sort of repercussion just because she's a woman. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Let's say to the counselors. She said at the end of the class, so if you want to stay, you can. Man, you only have one chapter for homework, but I'd like to try to get through it with you. Minerva writes poems. Minerva is only a little bit older than me, but already she has 2 kids and a husband.
Go Minerva.
Who left. Yeah, that sentence slowed down sucks. Minerva is only a little bit older than me, but already she has 2 kids and a husband who left.
Gender role.
So a couple years older than her would be just enough time to get 2 kids. Like, you know, the whole process is about a year from start to finish. So that means that she would have been pregnant at 16, had the first baby at 17, pregnant at 17, second baby at 18. That sounds horrible. Her mother raised her kids alone, and it looks like her daughters will go that way too.
The endless cycle that keeps going.
The
And it needs to stop.
How do you break a cycle that is in motion like that? That is a problematic cycle. How?
Teach your children not to go that way.
Teach your children. Who has to break the cycle?
Your kids.
The next one. You can't break it. Like,
You've already started.
you're in it. How do you break that cycle? The next generation has to break the cycle. Break the cycle of racism. Break the cycle of gender stereotypes. Break the cycle of whatever. Minerva cries because her luck is unlucky. Ha. Every night and every day and prays. But when the kids are asleep after she's fed them at the pancake dinner, she writes poems. She writes to be free too. Remember how Esperanza's aunt told her to keep writing? Because writing will keep you free. She writes them on little slips of paper and then she folds them over and over and holds them in her hands a long time. Little pieces of paper that smell like a dime. They smell like the inside of a pocket with like change in it. You know what I mean? She lets me read her poems. I let her read mine. She is always sad, like a house on fire. Ooh. Always something wrong. She has many troubles, but the big one is her husband who left and keeps leaving.
So she keeps letting him back?
What else is she gonna do? How's she making money? She got 2 kids by 18.
True.
And she can't get a job because she's a woman. One day she is through and lets him know enough is enough. Out the door he goes. Clothes, records, shoes, out the window, and the door locked. But that night he comes back and sends a big rock through the window. Then he is sorry, and she opens the door again. Same story.
So that's another endless cycle.
Look at me understanding that.
Aren't you proud of me, Coach? I'm starting to understand.
Yes. Next week she comes over black and blue
He beats me.
and asks what can she do. Minerva, I don't know which way she'll go. There's nothing I is italicized. There's nothing I can do.
Something wrong with my computer.
That's so sad.
Why, Riley?
Yeah, that's gonna be Sally one day. If Sally doesn't learn to get her act together.
Okay, I'm posting this. Say bye to Jet.
Bye, Jet.